Okay, yeah, the first question was, could you summarize what your experience has been so far? And this is like a practical thing of just like when you started, what the first workshop was and what other workshops you've been doing since then. Yeah, I guess like the project of the workshops as you've participated in it so far, if that makes sense.
My experiences with hospital rooms from the outset have been really positive. Going on to the first one, I was in a secure unit, and I was quite amazed actually that people were willing to risk themselves physically and come into a secure unit in order just to give people a chance to create something, to make something. And I didn't really envisage at that time that it would be quite so positive towards my mental well-being, the ability to be able to do that. Since leaving hospital, I've been attending regularly to the ones that are here at the Recovery College and some at the Courtauld as well. And as time has gone on, I'd say that it's had such a positive effect on how I felt. The ability to create and the ability to learn from artists, you know, who are well established, who give their time really freely, and the fact of being able to sit down and learn different things throughout all the different sessions as well has been brilliant. It's been amazing.
That's perfect, that's amazing. How do you think your situation might have looked without the project? Do you think you would have had any other opportunities in a similar way?
I would say that without hospital rooms, I definitely would not have recovered as quickly as I did have. And it has to it a kind of community as well. You do keep seeing the same people week in and week out. Without it, yeah, I can't envisage me having gotten back to normal life and connected again with quite the same effect, was it not for the help of hospital rooms and all their brilliant staff and the excellent artists that come along and again, as I say, give their time quite willingly to a project which I think is just really brilliant.
That's really lovely to hear. This is a slightly longer one. It's not that long a question, but how do you think you've kind of covered it, but how do you think it's affected you in the short term and the long term? Like in the short term, you might feel better about that day, but long term,
how it's affected me in the short term, as I say, I think people coming into a secure unit to help people create something is really, really good for their mental well-being when they are at a time when they're in a time of psychological crisis. Essentially, there's many different ways that people can be. There's many different ways that they can end up in a place like that in hospital. And so the short-term effects were really quite quick, they're very immediate. The ability to sit down and to take your focus off your surroundings and focus in on something that you're making, that was fantastic. That was a way of switching my brain from where I was and what was happening into a way of kind of like just focusing in on doing something. That was brilliant as a short-term effect. As a long-term effect, hospital rooms, attending each week. I know a lot of people don't necessarily attend each week, but attending each week and meeting different artists and meeting different people and having your work viewed by others and having a positive response to it and having other people around doing similar things but different. In the long-term effect, I think you used the word community when you sent me an email about it. And yeah, it does. It effectively creates just a small group. And I know they're not together forever, but in that time, that support bubble is really important, I think, for people in long-term effects.
Yeah, I think you're right. One other smaller one. What has been important to you about having access to art in these sort of environments? Is there anything that's stood out to you?
This is going to sound a bit funny, but because I was doing these art programs and because I had access to art and artists, and also, you know, being able to see art in the Courtauld Gallery and places like that, I have literally, over the past couple of months, started looking at the world in a different way. I look at a cloud, and I don't just see a cloud anymore. I look at a cloud, I see, right, okay, there's edges on that, which if I was painting, I would use white for, and then for the main part, I'd use a bit of grey. I look at a leaf and I think, yeah, there's probably 3 or 4 different shades of green in that, instead of just seeing a leaf. That has had a changing effect on my brain and the way that I view the world in total. And yeah, that's fantastic. I keep using the word fantastic. We'll have to cut that.
We'll take it. We'll take that.
Can I say one last thing?
Yeah, of course.
Quickly? If it wasn't for people who work in the hospital rooms charity, doing what they do, and as I said before, risking themselves physically in secure mental health units, there are a lot of people who I've seen such positive effects on. Some have been patients, some have been people who work for the NHS who've come in, and I think what hospital rooms do, not only as a thing of placing art in units for people, but what they also do for the people who attend their sessions is really, really good. And I am so glad that there are people out there who have decided to take this particular route. You're not only helping people with mental health problems, but also thinking about what they would be looking at when they're in secure units, and having sessions with people who are artists who help you create stuff. And having created it, you feel better for it. Simple as that. All right?
That's perfect. You've just